If you had to be a Disney princess or prince, which one would you be?
A Disney princess or prince?
Whatever.
The symbol?
Doesn't matter. I mean, if you had to be a Disney character, who would you be?
Oh, I thought you... Oh.
Are we including like magical powers?
You can include whatever you want. This is an open-ended question, Scott. There are no...
I mean, I would definitely pick one of the magical powered ones. Like, instantly Moana comes to mind because she can like control water. Also, it seems like she does a lot of sailing in really awesome places. So
Yeah.
Moana.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I would be Sebastian the Crab so I could get away with having a really racist voice all the time. What? Nobody else? Okay.
Who's Sebastian in the new movie? Do we know?
it is someone I can't recall right offhand. but-
Guarantee you it's cast as an authentic Jamaican.
Well, he gets more songs than the Little Mermaid in her own movie. She only gets one. She gets the one, and then he gets two. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
What is his
Really?
other one?
Yeah,
Other than
she's only got the one.
He gets Under the Sea and what else?
He gets Kiss the Girl and Under the
Kiss
Sea.
the Girl.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, the chef gets a song, but he's
Yeah.
got the same number as the Little Mermaid in that movie. It's
Yeah.
wild.
I see why you want to be him, because you're center of attention.
Thank you for
Yeah.
understanding.
Adrien? I mean, besides Cinderella,
you know,
like a delicate pumpkin over there.
I am a delicate pumpkin flower.
Oh,
So my head immediately goes to Timon and Pumbaa, but I don't know which one of the two.
oh.
You know,
I mean,
they have qualities that
yeah,
I enjoy.
lazy little assholes.
Timon. That's easy for me.
You would be Timon.
Timon.
I'm not
Timon.
going to
Oh,
given
you
the
would be Timon?
Given the
Oh, it's
Timon
a-
Pumbaa
wow.
choice, the only those are
Meerkat?
my only two choices. I'm going Timon.
Yeah, you definitely would be more of a meerkat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Instantly you all mentioned like all of these movies, and I wanted to be the evil villain from all of them. I was like, oh, I want to be Ursula. She's a giant bitch. I love her. And then you mentioned The Lion King, and I was like, I want to be one of those hyenas. I want to be the Whoopi Goldberg hyena. Crazy.
Mm.
Like, just irreverent and not no like her, whoever's actions they are, like, they're not responsible for their own actions. But I think I'm in that place in my life right now.
Before Timon,
You're living your Ursula life.
Just want to live my Ursula life.
It's funny you should mention that because my head went there too. Before Timon and Pumbaa, my head immediately went to Scar.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you see the recent thing where I don't know if it was like a meme or something like that, and they dissected how lions have no predators except for themselves. And then there was a point after Scar kills Mufasa where he's playing with a skull, and the person's like looked into it and was like, that's a lion skull. So Scar clearly killed and ate Mufasa.
What?
Yeah. Because he was eaten, right? Like Mufasa was eaten in the movie. Yeah. So they have no predators except for other. And he was just like playing with the little lion skull. I'm pantomiming a hand right now. Yeah.
What?
So I'd be Mufasa too. That sounds like a pretty tasty treat.
Oh.
I might want to switch.
You want to switch?
I might.
No, you can switch.
I'm thinking now on the benefits, just the pure power benefits
Mm.
of being Aladdin and having a
Oh.
literal genie to grant you 3 wishes. Because this is something I have prepared for in life. Like, I have sat down and thought about, okay, if somebody showed up 3 wishes, what would I do? So I've prepped for this. So that might be where you go to kind of set yourself up for the future.
Yeah, and you get to like go from being a street urchin to a hot ass prince.
I could literally use one of my wishes to control water. Boom, I'm like Moana and I've got 2 left, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have a monkey for a best friend.
Yeah.
That would rule.
That would
Flying
rule.
carpet.
Flying
Yeah.
carpet.
Uh-huh.
Aladdin's a good choice.
He ends as maybe the ruler of a kingdom. Is that?
He does.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean,
turns out okay for him.
technically, I think his Jasmine is like the queen, and he's like the husband of the queen. But
All right, I'll take it.
yeah,
All right.
are you gonna amend yours?
Who are you, Ari?
Wait, I thought you were going to explain how you know exactly what 3 wishes you're going to make.
Yeah.
I don't know, like right now, but I do remember, like there was a time.
What a cock tease. What a wish tease.
Well, no, here's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to there was a time when like I went to bed at night and like at school and I was worried about like, oh, I might be woken up in the middle of the night and have to give a 3 wishes answer and mess it up because I'm like too tired. So I wrote, I
Wait, it was when you were how old?
I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I want to.
He did say he was in
wish
school.
number 1, nobody can ever walk in while I'm masturbating. Wish number 2, Megan Fox is attached to me. Wish number 3, unlimited pizza.
One of my wishes, I was like, all right, I got this. I'm a superhero comic book dude, so I will make a list of all the superheroes where like I'm like, just give me their superpowers.
Oh, so this was this year that you.
This was this morning. This is my journaling activity. No, but I like wrote. I like went to serious thought about like how would I set up myself giving myself superpowers by genie in a real way, and like had a written down list that I kept next to my bed for some period of time. I don't know. So I might go Aladdin. Is what I'm saying.
And in high school, I stayed up in the middle of the night trying to figure out how I could get a girl to fuck me. So that was what I stayed up all night. Didn't work. Just like your genie wish list.
I mean, they resulted in the same amount of productivity.
There's a lot of hours trying to figure that out.
All right, I have a question. I have a completely unrelated question.
Oh, okay.
I'm curious about, I was thinking about this. I'm curious about what was everyone's first jobs. I want to talk first jobs. And that could be 2 things. That could be like making money as like an informal thing. And then the other one is like, what was the first thing you did where you got a paycheck, like officially?
I see. Is this something that you like journaled about? Or
I did not. I was thinking of, I was trying to think of interesting topics and also cross-reference that with things I know about none of you.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I know some stuff about some people, but I definitely don't know this about everybody.
Cool.
So it worked for me.
Can we ask you first? What was your first job?
Mowing lawns as a kid. Mowing lawns was the traditional like walk around the neighborhood with the lawnmower. But first paycheck job will probably not surprise you was at a movie theater.
Oh.
Where I was like the usher, clean the movie theater, sell the popcorn and sodas guy.
Did you ever work at a video rental shop?
Following that, I worked at a video rental shop during my senior year in high school.
Nailed it.
And it ruled.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Movie theater and video store.
That's so funny because both of my first jobs like were so apropos also.
Yeah?
Oh, you want me to? Okay, it's my turn. Yeah.
What? Maybe.
So my first, the first job that I actually got paid for very similarly was babysitting. I mean, I babysat for when I was like 12 years old. I babysat infants when I was 12. Like that was stupid. I don't know who these children.
How many of them made it?
All of them. They all miraculously did not die. It was fascinating. I distinctly remember one really adorable lesbian couple when I was like 15 years old had me babysit their infant, and I like adored them. They were just this like crotchety really like Tiva wearing, Life is Good sweatshirt wearing, probably vacationed in Vermont type lesbians, and I adored them to no end, and I loved babysitting their kids, and I often gave them like a big tax break, a big like break on their like paying me because I loved them so much. And then another job I have that was like job responsibilities but didn't get paid was I was an intern at a computer camp, a counselor in training, at a computer camp. I did not get paid. I stayed there for free and I ate for free. I absolutely hated and loved the job at the same time, and I got fired from the job because I refused to vacuum. I was like, I'm not your maid. So I refused to vacuum.
Was it a lot of vacuuming?
It was a lot of vacuuming.
Okay.
I mean, they were kids.
When they fire you, are they like, we're no longer not paying you, but we're also no longer giving you food or board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're not welcome back. We called your parents.
Oh no. The ultimate.
Yeah. But my first real paycheck job was I worked at the Sharper Image in the mall.
Is that a barber?
Are you unfamiliar
know
with
what
the Sharper Image?
I don't remember. I remember hearing about it and jokes about it. Is it a clothing store?
No. It's like a
To
like
me, it was a store that
like a
sold
tech store.
the future.
Yeah, it like basically sells random crap from the future, quote unquote. Like they were the first ones to sell like Palm Pilots, and they sold nose hair trimmers, which is a really weird one. They sold things called
from the
Ionic Breeze.
future.
Yeah. And they sold like Ionic Breezes, which was the first ion
So a
ion
swamp
based
cooler.
No, it was an ion air filter.
So a swamp cooler.
Swamp cooler.
Got
Yeah.
But
they
then it
also
would get
sold
ridiculous.
Hitachi. They also sold Hitachi magic wands.
Okay.
They
Housewife
they
best
sold
friend.
them as back massagers.
I mean,
We had one.
Did you?
It's illegal not to where I'm from. You have to declare that every dildo in Texas is actually for demonstrating the use of condoms. They have to be for sex education purposes, and I think if I remember correctly, you can only own a maximum of 4 dildos.
Six.
Six dildos now?
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're a little more progressive these days.
Yeah.
You can finally own as many dildos as you need.
Sharper Image was a great job. It was a great job.
Did you get
We
a
did
bunch
chase
of
each
stuff?
other around with Hitachi magic wands. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I had a Palm Pilot. I pretended like I was taking notes on my Palm Pilot during class in high school, and I was actually just playing games. I was like early on playing games on your phone. Yeah. And one winter, right before Christmas, we were the only ones who sold Ionic like air purifiers, and we were the only ones who sold Razor scooters. We had an exclusive. Sharper Image had an exclusive on Razor scooters, and I was 17 years old, and it was 1999, and it was 1999 going to 2000 or something like that. It was around there, and so it was during the like .com boom. So like, and this is Silicon Valley. Everyone had so much fucking money. Like I sat behind the counter. There was a line out the door through the mall. And if I got behind the cash register, I just put in my own number. We got 3% commission on everything we sold. I made thousands of dollars that week.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Did
That was a
you
good job.
ever have one of those glass globes with the like purple lightning that when you touch it, it like
I didn't.
focuses on your? Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do. We
Focuses
had
on your
those.
fingertips.
Yeah, we had
Of
those.
course, I know that from the Sharper. Like,
Yeah.
that's
I feel
one of those
like-
holy grail items.
I feel
for
like
me.
you'd get that at Spencer's.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
similar.
Similar. Brookstone was our main competitor. Sharper Image was in When Harry Met Sally, right? Like, am I crazy? That was an episode where they were in When Harry Met Sally, and that's where they did the karaoke scene.
Brookstone?
No,
I've never
Sharper
actually
Image.
watched
I don't.
When Harry Met Sally.
You fucking abomination. Wait, have you not seen it either?
I have. I haven't cataloged the retail establishments in
Oh.
When Harry Met Sally. I'm sorry.
Missed opportunity. Okay. Ari, what was your first job?
My first job is so pretentious.
Were you a lawyer?
I was a I was a door-to-door political organizer for Acorn, and we had a campaign to raise money for juvenile crime prevention programs instead of juvenile crime punishment programs. And I was the youngest person.
You're saying it like it's a terrible thing and not a great
I'm
thing.
embarrassed. I was the youngest person to ever make quota doing door-to-door political organizing.
God.
Those are good things,
You
right?
were doing community work?
I'm basically Barack Obama.
I mean, that's. I mean, all of our jobs, first jobs, very much fit with who we are now, which is interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That is very fitting. Yeah.
Literally, you worked at a
checks out.
suicide helpline for fucking ever. Like you help people. Yeah.
It's just so pretentious. Anyway, after that, I had all these jobs befitting my complete and total lack of any credentials because I was a high school dropout. So after that, I worked in like the basement of the Texas Education Agency, like licking envelopes, and it was a nightmare. I mean, it wasn't a nightmare, but
you could use a sponge, right?
No, that's why I mention it. It was such a shitty, disrespectful job that they gave us envelopes and told us to lick them, and it was like it would be like me and an ex-convict.
Damn.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't regret any of it. I really just think that I learned too much about our country when I was young. It wasn't good for me. It took me like 15 years to be a functional person again. Anyway, I told you it was pretentious.
I don't think that's pretentious.
I don't think it's
that's
pretentious at
cool.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a computer camp counselor in the Silicon Valley, and then also I worked at the Sharper Image where I got commission.
And you sat on a magic wand while you did checkout.
Listen.
I like that as a response. Listen.
I was on the front lines of a movie theater when the summer when Independence Day released. You have no idea.
The sacrifices for our
were
country.
Were you there when Star Wars was re-released?
No.
Okay.
I don't. That was not in my. I think that was probably a year later.
Okay.
It is a trip to me that my first job closed down because of a Republican, like far right's, like PSYOP or whatever. Because that nonprofit network, Acorn, they ended after like the sting by these Republican operatives where they had someone pose as a pregnant sex worker who was asking for help getting an abortion. And if they could maybe like sell some fetus material. And it was recorded and it was like a huge scandal. You probably vaguely remember it because it was like this really bizarre right-wing scandal. Yeah. And it was allowed to destroy the organization, I think basically because it's a genuinely progressive organization. So Democrats weren't really going to protect it because that be's how they do's.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Wait, Adrien, did I totally forget your jobs? What were they?
Yeah, it's time for
Did
Adrien.
you say? Oh, okay. You haven't said it yet. Well, don't say it yet.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait.
I just was like, at first I was like, did you say them? And I forgot them.
No, he's going to be
completely.
Simone, Pumbaa, or Scar. And he hasn't done his job yet.
Simone. You have no idea about movies. I love it.
Oh, Timon. I didn't, whatever.
Don't correct him, Scott.
I'm a little drunk.
I did. Just pointing it out.
I haven't watched The Lion King.
What?
See?
I literally just watched the stage play for the second time, The Lion King live. And you haven't seen it once.
That's
Ari.
the Julie Taymor one, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
It's so good.
I would love to see that. I haven't not.
It's so beautiful. Just like the production design, the costumes, the music, the performances. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I think that's sweet that you do things with your nieces and nephews.
Have you?
Oh, no, my aunt, my tia Diana had an extra ticket. And so she was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, you went as adults willingly.
Yeah, it was three. It was me.
I'm dragging you, Adrien. It's a bit. I'm doing a bit, Adrien.
Because there were other adults there too, without kids.
That's the joke.
I missed this. What movie is
It's
this?
fine. Adrien missed it too, and he was there for it.
I mentioned to Ari because he hasn't seen The Lion King that I just saw the live stage play for the second time.
Oh.
And he hasn't seen the
Any
movie
form
once.
of Lion King, I assume, right?
Yeah,
You
'cause
didn't skip.
Because there's two versions of it now.
There is. The original's much better than the
I
Yeah,
haven't seen the remake.
remake. I tried to watch it. I didn't finish
it's
it.
fine.
No.
It's just not at all necessary.
What is wrong
Okay.
with you, Ari?
Ari,
Ari loves talking about movies. He wants
behave.
to talk about movies he's seen.
All right. What kind of fucking art film that makes me want to stab myself in the eye?
Oh,
If you want
please.
to talk about.
None. I don't need to synopsize movies. We've been over this so many times.
I'm going to turn this into a movie podcast one way or the other. When you don't expect it, you're going to.
I did take your
Look the wrong way.
recommendations.
What?
I did take Scott's recommendations. I watched Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Will you
yes.
stop
Oh.
recommending?
And it was great. It was excellent. And I watched Top Gun Maverick. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Wonderful
You're
film.
a
you wa-
You're
you
a
watched
giant
it?
fucking
Are
liar.
you setting me up right now? Or are you just?
Yes.
Are you about to not me?
Ari.
Okay, listen. In fairness, I was on a date and I did turn it off 10 minutes in because I said it was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
So you didn't even
But
watch.
I turned it on. I turned it on. There were 10 minutes. I saw Tom Cruise's strangely melted face, and
Uh-huh.
Did
Yep.
you not watch?
called it quits.
Did you not
Jets go
watch to the
vroom.
point? Did you not watch to the point where like they all take off their shirts and stuff, like, and have like some like homoerotic
It sounds great. It sounds really interesting. It sounds,
wrestling match on the beach?
I feel
Ari,
like
No?
I feel
that
like he turned it off
scene-
before that so that he could like take off shirts in real life.
I did. We did. Yeah.
Oh, well
Oh,
then.
okay.
I mean,
That's
I
fine.
guess.
But just to be clear, not because of the sex, because it was a horrible movie.
He is dragging all
if
of
you
us
could
right
see
now.
the melting straight men in the room at this
Look.
moment.
I like that movie too.
Look, if
My voice went up 7 octaves right there.
if I could use a computer and have it build the exact wrong movie for Ari, it might look like Top Gun Maverick. Like that might be the
That's
exact
my favorite thing about your suggestions.
wrong thing.
You've really been hitting them out of the park lately. You've been like,
Are
Ari,
you
you'll hate this.
specifically?
Check it out.
Yeah, are you specifically like suggesting he watch movies that he will hate?
No, I said everyone should watch Maverick. That
Why? What was
Because I had
what
just watched it and it was in my brain. I liked it.
was- okay.
That was great. I saw it twice.
I thought I liked it.
Thank you.
But also, I
guys
actually
are
know
normal.
the kind of movies that Ari likes. I think I would nail it if I were to compile a list of movies.
you think you do
for
better than
Ari.
I do, bro?
Oh,
You're gonna
yeah,
do better than me?
I,
I mean,
Better than
Ari
Maverick?
and I have already connected on
Cut
this.
to finding your heads on spikes. Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna try.
From one film snob to another, I know.
I'm gonna suggest When Harry Met Sally because it's a classic. And
that sharper-
it's
the
about
sharper
it's
image.
about misery and depression and loathing and friendships. It's very good.
Have you seen When
And
Harry Met
breakups.
Sally?
I've only seen clips.
There
I
you
haven't
go.
seen it.
Right.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Look, Ari has seen all of Gaspar Noé's films. He's seen all of Lars von Trier's films. He's seen Lynn Ramsey's films, I'm pretty sure. Am I?
I'm really not a caricature of a film snob. Like the answer to that is no. Yeah, I'm not.
But if I name their films, you probably have seen them.
I've seen some Lars von Trier movies, but I haven't seen like more than a couple.
Who the fuck this person is.
The Lion King.
All right.
I enjoy being nominated as a snob. It tickles me. My friend did recently come out to me as a Smash Mouth fan. And
Yeah.
and I was like, I love bait like this. I mean, my ex tried to get me to go to a Counting Crows concert. I was like, oh, you're asking for it. Because I'm so not a fucking snob. I'm a kid who grew up watching anime and being like, I love Sailor Moon. I'm drawing Sailor Moon. And but like,
but those,
if you
but
push
those
me,
people
I
turned
will
out to
a
be the
snob.
snobbiest people.
No, they did not.
Okay.
Sailor Moon fans, come on.
Yeah, no problem with the
Please
anime
help me
fans on
here.
the internet.
But I mean, you've also you
Oh,
watched
thank
something like The World's Worst Person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody would watch that.
For our listeners, What is the world's worst person?
It's a film by Joachim Trier, who is, I believe, the nephew of Lars von Trier.
Yeah, came out last year, I think.
Came out last year.
Yeah.
I think it's a Danish film, if I'm correct.
See, this is all an illusion. No matter what he says, as he proceeds down this path, he'll never be the snob, but I will be. Even
Yeah,
though,
but that's also because that's his job. Like,
Yeah.
he's allowed to be a snob because that's his job.
But also, my taste expands beyond the art house.
He's like, but also, I just know more.
I
have better opinions.
Right.
No, but I can also geek out over like Top Gun Maverick because I do appreciate like a nice blockbuster popcorn movie.
And also, it's really cool that in Top Gun Maverick, like the making of it, they forced all of them to go through like 4G, 5G,
That's
like fighter
awesome.
jet, like they actually forced them to go into those airplanes and be like in 5G. Yeah, craziness.
Totally.
Tom Cruise is ridiculous. Yeah.
No, yeah. He was like, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this the right way, and everybody's gonna be in a goddamn airplane, and you're gonna feel this, and you're gonna vomit all over yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I get that.
Ari is literally disassociating right now.
I get that you didn't like Maverick.
I'm fine.
That does
I'm
not
just gonna be
surprise
on
me.
Grindr for a little while you guys continue. Go ahead.
But what I'm
talk
saying
about
is,
it.
all right. Wait.
Is there anybody? Is there any good people around here?
We can do a 3-person episode. We started off with which Disney prince are you? I'm ready to go.
Wait, Ari, I haven't answered the question yet. The first job. So my first job was at a movie theater, obviously. I was actually at the theater when they re-released Star Wars. And hanging in my apartment is a poster from Return of the Jedi, the re-release.
That's
One
awesome.
of the assistant managers secretly gave it to me and was like, shh, don't tell anybody. When those posters came in, and my mom got it framed for me. It was like my 20th birthday or something like that. But yeah, I got that poster when I was 16.
That's awesome.
And it's still hanging proudly on my wall.
I remember standing in line for that damn movie for hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was at the theater when Chasing Amy came out, Romeo and Juliet, and I think Independence Day.
Yeah, we were right around the same time. Probably
Yeah.
The Rock was in there.
Totally.
The Rock.
I had to kick kids out of strip tease a few times. That was
Yeah,
thing
strip
people were
tease.
trying to sneak into.
Yeah.
Any of these movies? Do you know any of these movies? No.
I worked.
Come on, Ari, we got all night. We could just sit here and talk until midnight.
I was an usher. I worked the concession stands and I worked the box office. And because the theater got robbed a handful of times, the managers got robbed.
Did you get
late
your
at
gang
night.
to come and work?
Well, you know what's funny is there was actually 2 people from the gang I was in that were working there before I got there. Right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, they were only there briefly while I was there. But what was funny is that they were kind of supposed to be kind of like the leaders of the gang. But I remember we were going into this theater once, right? And he needed to make an announcement to the theater, and he couldn't do it, so he asked me to do it. He was like, "Hey, I don't know if I could do this. Do you think you can like go and make this announcement?" And I was like, sure. And so I went up and made the announcement to the crowd. It was just kind of a weird change in power dynamics, you know, to be like part of this gang where this person is supposed to be like the leader, and then suddenly the dynamic shifts,
public
where,
speaking.
He's not able
pants.
to do this thing. And then I have to step in. Yeah, it was just kind of interesting to be like, oh.
At your theater, were the projectionists like one level cooler than everyone else? Like they were the kind of the
total punk rock.
Yeah, flip their collars up, and the girls that you were working with, and you're like, oh, this is a cute girl, but they were like, oh, they have a crush on the projectionist or whatever.
Oh, totally, like ripped jeans,
That's
like
crazy.
leather
That went across the
jacket.
board.
Yeah.
So did
Carrying
you guys
canisters of film?
Did you ever have sex in one of the theaters?
No.
No, I was not having sex.
No, yeah.
I was having
that
sex, but
question
not
wasn't for
in
you.
the theater.
Okay.
But that would have been fun, I think.
I was trying to ask something at least a little bit provocative. Jesus.
Seemed fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has a situation where you were watching a movie ever ignited something more interesting happening? Like you were watching a movie with somebody, like a love interest, and it turned into something exciting, or like there was a situation in which maybe you were in a movie theater and like.
Are you still asking if Adrien fucked in a movie theater? Is this just a long way of saying that?
I'm just like rephrasing it just in case you didn't understand what I asked.
Have you ever had a thrilling sort of a thing upon your body with another person, with an additional person in a cinema location while you are in a seat that might go up and down?
Back
and then you've set down some Sour Patch Kids, and then there's like a mouth around a part of you.
Well,
the closest I've gotten is having sex while smelling like popcorn.
Okay.
Because I would go home, or I would go, to her place after I'd get out of work really late, smelling like a concession stand, like popcorn.
Oh my God, did she bring it up during sex? She's like,
yeah. Was that her thing?
Yeah. So she's like, you smell like popcorn. I was like, yeah, I know.
It's delicious, and I want to eat you.
She's like, I'm trash. I'm into Fuck
me. Butter me up. Butter my buns.
Ari, I was totally ready to not talk.
Moving right along.
So good. It's so good. God, Adrien, now I want to have sex with you. You're gonna talk to me like that.
I did actually kind of want to talk about like the concept of the fact of existence of Josie and the Pussycats, the movie.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the fact that you sent a message to the group the other day saying you wanted to go and see a punk concert.
Yes.
I think of Josie and the Pussycats not for any particular reason about the movie itself.
The movie rules, by the way.
The movie...
Disagree.
The movie is such a peak beginning of the end of culture, Y2K movie.
Yeah.
Where so many the movie kind of is like, what about where all of this is headed now that it's been commodified and decentralized by the internet? And it really was like that for the rest of the next like 2 decades. Like feminism really did resemble the like complete bullshit, the trash feminism in that movie. For the next like 2 decades, it was this kind of like weird plastic consumer feminism where it was sort of like, it's feminist Paris Hilton, or like having an argument with your classmate and saying that he's an idiot. And I kind of think the movie's amazing in that way, because that period was just no, not the movie itself. The movie's terrible.
No,
but
the lessons I learned from it were great.
The passage of civilization during that time is kind of captured by that movie, I think, in a way that only a few things did. Like I would say McG movies, like the vibe of the first Charlie's Angels movie.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention the first Charlie's Angels movie when you mentioned Josie and the Pussycats.
That is a total vibe. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a very snapshot in time.
There's a superficial comment about the fact that those things are back in fashion right now, which is fine and whatever. But it was one of the first like world rave decontextualization periods. Like it followed the grunge that we grew up listening to. Lauren, I think you didn't listen to any alternative rock, right? Like you weren't a Nirvana head, Scott.
A little bit. I mean, radio stuff. But yeah, an alternative radio station, if it made it up there. But
it reminds me of you saying, I want to go see a punk rock concert. It's this kind of like culture in the ruins kind of thing. That is.
I mean, I think I listened to a little bit more of, God, what did they call it on Spotify? It was like grunge. It was like post-grunge, the post-grunge era, like Incubus and God, what are other ones? Like 9 Inch Nails. I mean, 9 Inch Nails was a little more that time, but like Incubus,
Incubus is a good example.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good Tool was kind of that.
A lot of the big bands that made music at that time, that made music that still seemed, I'm going to just say kind of Christian in a weird, I'm going to kind of flip it.
Like Nickelback? I didn't listen to Nickelback, but like,
I want to flip the metaphor a little bit. Like, because people don't usually think of something like Nirvana as Christian, but I actually mean like, that was the last period in which it seemed messianic what people were doing. It was kind of coming to an end. Bands like Nirvana, My Chemical Romance, I don't think after that time, I think it's arguable that there's not really that same kind of messianic subculture.
My Chemical Romance was much after that, wasn't it?
No, not a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they were big when I moved to LA, and that was like 2005. I want to say.
I think that's like the end of any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think that period of like 1998 to 2005 is like where you can watch it circling the drain.
Yeah, like
is what I'm saying.
Like Soundgarden. I listened to Soundgarden. Like those weird, like, post grunge era bands. Those are the ones that I listened to a lot of.
I'm just saying, like, when I grew up, there was still a sense that you were leaving quote unquote mainstream culture for some wisdom that was in the alternative sphere. And I think that time period is over. And some of the art that exemplifies that is things like Josie and the Pussycats, where it was sort of like, you're not going to see anything ever rooted in anything real again.
Yeah, I mean, it exists, but like the sense of, I mean, I wonder if it's like the sense of virality, like everything becoming viral and being obnoxious and in your face, all of these like pop bands, and when something gets famous, it's just in your face all the time, and there's no room for, I mean, though, I think that music still exists. It's just there's no room for it in our culture anymore.
I think context defines art enormously. And the other thing about a viral thing is it has no context. I don't think really has much of a context, especially since the platform is gone before too long that it was viral on. I mean, not that people aren't sentimental, like watching their favorite old Vines or whatever, but
no, it's true.
I think part of the idea of like Michael Jackson is that the surrounding culture is so stodgy and curated that when something countercultural comes in, or that seems countercultural, it creates a huge response, because it seems like it's, particularly because it's pierced some dowdy, like, conservative veil.
Yeah. I find it interesting. You're saying this, and the things that come to mind now of the things that pierce through that and are like controversial are not necessarily the music themselves, but it's the people making the music. So like, for instance, like Lil Nas X, like him being like a queer, like a very out queer man, black man, making music that is, for all intents and purposes, made to be popular. Like his music is very trendy style music, but he himself pierced through things because he is who he is. And like now, what it seems like, what I'm noticing, I mean, we're talking about it and just like thinking about this, and tell me if you have a different view on it, but like you have to.
Parasocial performance art.
What does that mean?
Oh, sorry. I'm just totally agreeing with you. That
people
have to sell themselves.
They have to sell
their friendship with you in a way.
Yes, exactly. And they have to make the thing that will get them popular and in the mainstream, and then show who they are after they've done that. In order to pierce through the wall that is like TikTok.
Right.
And fucking Instagram stories. Like in order to become an Instagram story or a TikTok video, you have to be so popular.
Well, and that was one of the things with Lil Nas X too, is he was smart about identifying. He's like, oh, the country charts right now are ripe for this song to come in and have fewer competition. So he like makes a country track, puts it there, shoots the top, and it's like boom. But it's like, oh, instant PR and marketing or whatever, which is amazing or whatever.
There was was it a documentary? It was some kind of a documentary show type thing on the Black community in country and how they are not welcome, have never been welcome, and it's just continues to be a really shitty place for Black people in the country.
Wholly unsurprising to me.
I think Kane Brown is another Black country artist that's broken through, who's rising on the charts.
Darius Rucker has a huge country career now. He's former Hootie and the Blowfish guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it doesn't. I mean, to say it's like a bad environment for Black artists is not surprising to me from just the genre.
Yeah.
All right, can I turn us on to our segment?
No, you better, because
I know I don't want to run out of time. I don't want anyone to escape this.
Okay. Well, okay. So what? Do you want me to? No.
I just wanted to do. I wanted to do a show and tell segment. My idea was
I'm not gonna pretend like we don't know what's going on here. Scott has been fucking talking about this for months.
Which is, to be fair,
you don't want to do this? Sure,
only
Scott.
the amount of time that we
don't want to do it.
Trying to schedule this, but it's not like multiple episodes with. I just had the idea. I was like, oh, why don't we all bring in an item, do like a quick show and tell. It was a really like a minor idea, but then I got a pretty
what?
A reaction.
Sorry?
I got a reaction.
Oh, I
and it made me more interested.
I remember getting a reaction too. That's interesting.
What do you remember? I remember suggesting show and tell. And
if you don't do the show and tell, actual show and tell, you will run out of time.
No, but I remember you were like, that's ridiculous. I don't understand why we would do that. It was very amusing to me.
This is like some couple therapy shit.
If you go in, this will take up all the time, sweetie pie.
No, we have so much time. We have 53.
The two co-hosts checking their watch, excited about us having a fight.
We have
They're
at
so
least.
into it.
I am in this fight for at least 3 minutes. Go.
I am now fascinated by the idea that this is so outlandish because that is bizarre to me. I'll be honest.
It did get a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
So I had a pitch for how we would talk about this, but I really didn't know if we would have time to talk about it.
Oh, what are we going to talk about?
Here's my pitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
My pitch is that Scott explains the idea behind show and tell.
Yeah.
And I explain my reaction to show and tell, and then you both have to pick who's right.
Okay.
But
can I lay down court?
Yes.
I want to be clear up front. This is a taco a sandwich question. So you have to have,
that is
for no good reason,
really good fucking
a big
question.
Opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is an excellent
question. For no
question.
good reason, you have to pick who's right.
Next episode,
whichever side
is a taco a sandwich.
Whichever side you fall on that side hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Adrien, are you ready?
Give it to us.
All right. We're ready.
Mine's going to be real fast. I just suggested we do show and tell because that seems like a normal thing to bring up conversations, 4 items. It was just kind of a hook to do something, and I didn't think it would be weird at all.
So we had a conversation after he brought it up. What was funny to me was when he mentioned it in the group chat, your response, Lauren, was, I could tell a story about anything.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah.
Is there going to be anything in my house? I guess I could just bring anything.
Yeah.
So my argument was, why are we doing this? This is something you do to help a child understand how to talk to people about a thing. We can actually just tell any story from our lives ever.
Yeah.
And having to find an object in our house,
a visual aid,
almost like reduces our ability to think of the story we want to tell, because then we have to go find some fucking object, which, by the way, I don't have. I think most people have a laptop and that's about it. I think your response early on was like, I could get a butt plug that I have a story about, Lauren.
Yeah.
I
said, I can tell a story about anything.
Right. So
I don't know if I'm allowed to interrupt right now. You're I'm
almost done.
You're what are the opening statements?
Litigating. Yeah, opening arguments. Like, I'm wearing jeans and I could talk about these jeans, sure. But the other option is, like we've been doing since we started, you could tell any fucking story you want and not go get a salt shaker from your fucking kitchen table, because that's
I do have some salt shakers I can tell a story about if you want me to.
It's what you do to help a child talk to people. It's not a real thing that adults do to tell a story. Adults just tell a story.
Have you never worked in a corporate environment before?
I do think I will potentially lose.
We do that.
I do think I will potentially lose
fucking painful
for being mean and not liking enough movies. I understand that this episode has already been weighted against me. I didn't pick a Disney princess that I am.
I've seen The Godfather.
I'm done with my closing argument. Okay. The prosecution rests.
Wait, do we get questions? Can we ask questions about this?
Fire away.
Do you have any questions, Adrien?
I'm not scared.
Wait, can we first get an affirmation? It's pretty good, right? It's a pretty good fight.
No, both of them. I get it. I get both of your. But I do have an opinion. But I would like to ask a few questions first. Why do you want to be normal, Scott? You said verbatim, this is something that normal people do. Well,
to be honest, I woke up one morning and I found myself with a podcast where producing content was one of my goals. And so I thought of a segment with constraints, and that's where this came from. No, it's actually, I had an object and I was like, oh, I'll bring it in. And I was like, oh, I'll just say everyone bring in an object so that it's not me bringing in stuff to say, everyone look at my thing.
This is a doorway to my follow-up argument, which is Scott wanted to tell a story, so he ruined everyone else's capacity to tell any story they wanted by saying, I do have a story that happens to be tied to an object, so now I'll ruin the free ticket everyone has to tell any fucking story they want by saying everyone has to bring in an object-based story. The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Can I redirect?
Can I just? Yes, you can redirect. You can redirect, but I would like to sidebar for a second. Sidebar,
Your Honor.
When somebody asks me what my favorite thing about doing this podcast, my favorite thing is when Scott has a bit and Ari rips him a new one. It's literally my favorite thing about the whole podcast. Number one favorite. And my question for Ari, do you want to have a question first?
No. Yeah.
Cool.
Adrien, you're a nice man, but you do have to make a choice by that.
You're going to have to make a choice.
You're going to have to make an enemy here.
Actually, that's not necessarily true, because then it just makes the one opinion that comes in the powerful one. But will you be voting?
Sure.
Okay. Solid.
Is this particularly hard for either one of you?
Yeah, I'm actually on the fence.
I was on the fence. It's a spiritual battle.
No, yeah, it really is a spiritual battle. Because I see both sides, and I'm an empathetic person here. I'm a kind, loving human being who wants to see everybody's, also a narcissist. So I'm just gonna build myself up there. Ari, what about? So why do you think that choosing one object limits you so much? Like, why does choosing one object and talking about it when it could be literally any object? So you can choose literally any object. It's not like we're asking to choose you're only allowed to choose a toy, or you're only allowed to choose something that smells like it.
I don't have an object left over from all the most important things in my life.
You have a fucking wall of them, like over your couch.
No, I don't.
The trash.
There's
wall?
like a half-eaten piece of candy. There's
you could tell
What's
that story.
The story behind that?
There is no story behind that.
Story?
It is a marshmallow candy I bit, and it is decorating my wall. There's no story.
And then the last time we talked about, you talked about the peep that was on your wall that somebody
We
ate.
just shared about the first job we ever had. Does anyone have a pay stub left over so that we can tell that story? Because without the pay stub from that story, we can't tell that story.
Okay.
And if you don't have the condom from when you had sex last,
you're patronizing. You've just ruined. I was seeing you as a cute little child.
I was killing it.
You were killing it until that point.
Yeah.
No.
It was a good argument.
Made enemies in the court.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
Right.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying.
Wait, I don't know. Did we hear Scott's rebuttal?
That's a great question.
Yeah, we didn't hear.
I would.
Do I need a rebuttal?
No, I agree. I agree. We didn't hear anything from Scott. Can we vote now?
I'm merely submitting that it's not weird. I don't know. I thought it would be. I have a daughter. She does show and tell every week at school. But as an adult, I also don't think it's weird to just be like, oh.
I mean, my only issue, my one and only issue with it is show and tell requires a visual medium. So the listeners can't see the object. So we would have to describe it to them. Which, I don't know, is that a bad thing, good thing? I don't know. Yeah, that was my only
So
issue
you're in the
with it.
can for show and tell.
You're
making
saying
complete sense.
You're saying we should
Well,
call
no,
it.
hearing.
I mean, it
Can
doesn't.
we vote? I want to hear.
No. This is supporting your argument, Ari.
But I'm sensing where this is going, which is in the final vote, you won't support my argument. You're giving me a
No,
concession.
he's
Ari,
saying it should be called tell and tell.
You don't know that.
Okay, I don't know that. I think I do, but I don't.
I'm gonna actually vote second. I'm gonna let Adrien vote first because
I moved to vote because that was all my argument.
Okay.
cool.
All right.
Plus, we have to save time for show.
Yeah,
and tell.
exactly.
Yeah.
For this garbage segment.
So surprise. I mean, I don't know if this is any surprise, but Ari, I actually do side with you.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I respect it, but why?
I think because of that reason. It's just
I'm doing
like,
the best
visual.
nasty dances no one can see.
yeah. Podcasting.
There
is
was a
an
tongue for our
audible-
listeners. His tongue was out. He was doing a weird little wave situation. He looked a little bit like one of the monsters from Monsters Inc. It was great.
Yeah. The only reason why I was able to make this work was because I was able to take this physical form and turn it into a virtual thing that we could possibly share, like in the show notes.
Sure.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Oh, everybody loves that, checking the show notes.
Love the show notes.
Our 1.5 listeners.
Hit pause, everybody. Check the show notes.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with I also vote for Ari. But with the caveat that I never want Scott to stop pitching things because
This feels so bad. Why would I high five you?
He's trying to high five Scott.
Go high five your judges. Don't high five me.
Can I tell you? Can I tell? Oh, sweet catharsis. Hold on, I gotta change my pants.
I'm fuming.
So much cum. Okay.
But with the caveat that I love that Scott creates bits, and I when I listen back to the episodes of us talking about the bits and doing the bits, they're just delightful. So
and may I just say, you created this bit
yeah, we would
by being so wrong.
Jesus.
I was so sure too. I
All
was
right,
so
take
sure.
the win. Take the win and shut the fuck up, Ari.
Oh no! If you wanted to know who I really am, it is a sore winner. That is the big reveal that everyone knew was coming.
I knew
everyone knew
I
was
knew that
coming.
when I played cards with you.
That's
Every
right.
time you won, you're like, I don't know how I did this. Oh my goodness! I don't even know what I'm doing. I win.
I was the kid who got a participation ribbon for doing jump ropes with the girls in the back in elementary school. let me have this. As a Mario Kart Pro with low bone density, I get to win something for once.
This is gonna alter my weekend. Like I'm gonna have
He was gonna come home and get laid and everything, but it's over.
I mean, I can be mad at you for being a sore winner, but I was ready to gloat, so I can't be too mad.
They're shaking hands.
I love you, Scott. I'm so glad that we're friends.
All right, can we start this segment, please?
Yes, we can start the segment.
Oh, and you made a song for it.
I didn't make the song. I got a song.
If there was ever time to hear a song that was made for a segment, it's now, right after losing.
Also, in line
Fucking
with
Christ, never gonna let you win again.
In line with Lauren's sentiment, I do appreciate all of your bits, Scott.
Aw, thank you.
I do love them. To never stop doing them.
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
I do them because I like doing them, so I'll keep going. But they amuse me to no end too. So
this is my favorite moment of the entire podcast so far. I'm just reveling in what happened right here. Like, yes, yes to all of yes to Ari and Scot Court.
Yeah, this I have to say, I feel such love for you, Scott. And this reminds me of our conversation before the pod, Lauren, about having a fight in a relationship. It's so important to become closer because of a fight.
Yeah.
It's so important. I love you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you for having this fight with me. You don't have to say you love me back, but I do.
It's tough right now. No, I love you, dude. It's fine. I just think it's fun.
Ari doesn't need any more cum in his pants. Don't tell anybody we love him.
No, I love doing this stuff too. It's totally fine. It cracks me up. So yeah.
Good.
All right. So I got a song from Fiverr. This is from John Harper. I found a rapper to give us an intro song for Show and Tell.
Oh my God, yes.
Ready?
I'm so ready.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. That's all crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Show and Tell. Show and Tell. It's totally normal. It's normal for adults. Yeah, for adults. Nothing weird going on here. No way. Just some good old fashioned adult. Can I lay down? What'd you bring today? Show it around. This is a great idea. Who doesn't agree? If they don't, they must not have much to show. And we can tell. Yeah, we know.
Oh no.
Show and tell.
Why did you even argue? Why didn't you just play that song? I would have said you won, Scott.
Was phenomenal, Scott.
How did that perfectly succinctly sum up everything that just happened?
Was all the evidence you needed.
As the kids would say, this is the beginning of your no pussy era. It's just started. No, I agree. You retroactively won.
No, I love that music though. You did a great job.
That was really good.
Dope. The song was
dope.
Absolutely
Good.
slamming.
I want him to do all of our theme songs now.
I'll see what I can do. I have a connection now.
Yeah, he does have a great comedic delivery.
Yes.
It's like, oh shucks, here you go. It was great. Who would like to go first?
I'm not going first.
Go for it, Scott.
Feels loaded. All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
All right, so mine is kind of attached to the show. I'll do the story first and then say what it is. But
Can it not be a boring story?
I'll try not to be.
Okay.
It'll be a sad boy high school story. Is
Okay.
that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Scott's officially taken enough abuse.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm about to take some more. Don't
Okay.
worry. So, like, there was a spot in high school after I dated a first girlfriend and before I dated a second girlfriend where I was like in the middle and I was like, I feel like I want to go to a dance and like try to change who I am and become a cool guy or like I want to she's all that myself. You know what I mean? Like I want to figure that out. And so I was trying to figure it out and I was like, I'll write to some sort of like a famous person and invite them to go to a school dance with
Penthouse Forum? Oh, sorry.
me. I'll be like, you can come to a school dance and hang out with me and my friends. And so I was like, I'll write to a famous person and send away a letter and figure out how to see if I can get them to like a pitch to see if I can get them to come hang out at our dance.
What was the percentage in your brain that you thought this would work?
Okay, so I was thinking that here's a few different, I was thinking there were some possible outcomes, none of them very likely. I thought that it's possible that you could just become friends with this person and you're like, oh, that works. And then you could be like, oh, like in my pitch letter, I was like, I'm just like a guy from Kansas. I'm like you probably hang out with like Hollywood people. You probably don't even know what it's like to hang out with like a normal guy and his friends. 96.
I assume we're going to guess who it is.
You could try or not, either way. But
like, who is it that Scott wants to go to prom with?
And I was also thinking.
Wait, sorry, this is a woman?
This is yeah. Because I was the guy who was like, I'll be best friends with someone and then try to make my friend to more than friend move.
And what kind of a celebrity was this person?
This is an acting person.
Okay.
He's so wholesome. It's like, is it Helen Hunt?
Was it?
It was age appropriate.
Was it the actress from She's All That?
It is not Rachel Lee Cook.
Rachel Lee Cook.
She rules, but no, it was
you said
not.
It was age appropriate. Oh, that changes.
No,
things.
that's good.
So
I
it's
mean,
either
you're in the
Rachel Lee Cook or Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Also an excellent choice. She rules.
That is an excellent
Danielle
choice.
Fishel is really cool.
By the name,
I know. I know everyone's name, but yeah.
Also, like the Full House, the chick from Full House. That's also very
Jodie Sweetin.
The oldest one.
Candace Cameron.
Yeah.
So
she's also.
I think you're just a little too like. I didn't figure out girls until I was older, so it was an older like chunk, whatever. So I wrote a letter, and I'm like, I could send a big envelope and try and get like stuff back. I thought if I get a response at all,
like press materials,
right? If I get a response at all, maybe it'll be like positive or whatever. If I don't get a response, no one's going to find out. It's not a big deal. No one's going to really clown on me for it. So I figured I wasn't risking anything, even though I thought it was really low risk. But I intentionally didn't send a big envelope. I intentionally sent like a self-addressed stamped envelope that was letter sized, with the idea being like, oh, like write a letter back, like I don't know what I was expecting, but I just sent it off.
So 1996 and age appropriate, but like maybe a little older.
Yeah.
So maybe like in their early 20s.
No, she's my age, like right on.
Natalie Portman.
Oh shit! No way! Out of your league, Natalie Portman.
This person is not out of my league. But yeah, my best friend had a crush on Natalie Portman, so I think I did not for that reason. We had honorable crushes with each other, I think.
Nothing's fine, it's corn. Isn't that her song?
No, that's
Natalie Imbruglia.
That's Natalie Imbruglia, and that's Torn.
Oh, Natalie Portman, right? That's
Natalie
a different
Portman
one.
Is an actress.
She was in a movie called Star Wars.
What
Phantom
I have,
Menace.
it's corn, right? Like she checks, and it's corn.
Yeah, it's corn.
What did I eat? It's corn.
I'm on the floor.
All right, so what I have now is a prized possession. I got back my letter. I got back my envelope.
What?
Right? Months later, I got the envelope back, and there was something inside. I was like,
what about the chick from 10 Things I Hate About You?
Julia Stiles.
Yes.
Oh,
That's my guess.
She's
that's
great
my
too.
guess.
Is the letter scathing? Dear rural hayseed.
Hey,
I'd rather have marbles shot up my urethra than come to your shithole town, you peon.
My awesome Hollywood friends and I sat around and laughed at your letter.
Exactly.
We passed it around and read it in stupid voices and made dumb.
And then we rolled it up and sniffed some
We
coke
acted
with
like
it.
we were you.
Yeah, then we had an Eyes Wide Shut party.
Here, we videotaped ourselves and we sent that videotape back to you. Here, watch it.
Dear Virgin Nobody, I took a shit on your letter. It was most delightful. Okay, so who was it?
I was happy and sad. I got back no letter, but I did get back an autographed picture. It was just small enough to fit in my envelope. So here I have my autographed picture of Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci.
Who I fell in love with in probably like Casper.
Casper, yeah.
And then Now and Then and a whole bunch of
what's the one that she was
She
in?
looks
Mermaids?
so young in this picture.
She was in, was it Mermaids?
Mermaids?
With
she was super like young.
yeah,
with Cher.
Cher and what's the chick from Stranger Things? The mother from Stranger Things?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
You know
yeah.
what's so
That was
funny
such
that
a
you're
good
showing me
movie.
this, and it's going to make me talk about a movie, which is the thing I hate the most in this world.
What's that?
But I was just rewatching The Opposite of Sex like 13 times because I love that movie. That movie's so Ari. And she's in that. She's like a lead in it.
She's in the Addams Family. She steals the whole movie. She's great.
Yeah.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
So that's my, and I've actually not told that story to hardly anyone because it was still lingering like cringe for me as a high school to be like, to admit that I tried to do that move is, I think only recently a thing that I'd be like, oh, I can see the humor in that and not feel personally like still upset about the whole thing.
Oh my God. And I love that it's like basically like a teenage child's signature. Like this definitely looks like her yeah, like this is a teenager's signature.
So I know it's a pretentious question, a therapeutic question. Can I ask you, what about it? What is the image of yourself that you see that makes you cringe, that it is like reveals?
I think it's like writing to someone and asking them to be friends feels kind of desperate. Just from the outset, it's kind of like, oh, friends are a thing you're supposed to like run into at parties and hang out. And then you're like, we do activities together. And then I'm like, oh, I don't go to parties and I don't do a lot of activities with other people. I'm a very solo, introverted sort of guy. So, but one of the introverted solo things I did was watch movies, watch TV all the time. And so I was like, oh, I'm well versed on actors and actresses. And like, I've seen hours and hours of you, which is more than I've seen of real people in some ways. So I don't know.
It's like
I was
the
just
plot
like,
of Weird Science. It's so charming.
I also very much was like, it's a
Another
very
movie. Good job.
low
Ari.
risk.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Like I don't think anyone's going to put me on blast for this. I'm not going to get it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's that. So I think that was part of what let me be like, oh, I can do this.
I appreciate you sharing. I cringe on some level about all the letters I wrote to artists that I admired.
Really? I never wrote one. Interesting.
I didn't write that many,
Same.
but I just cringe. I just feel kind of exposed about all of them, and I think it's a thing that it's like, how could I possibly have handled the exchange properly? I was 14.
Yeah.
So but it's just like, yeah, you just like pick on yourself for not being a 35-year-old when you're 16. That's like how your brain works.
Yeah.
I admire that you both made the effort to do that, because when I was that age, I didn't know that you could even do that.
Yeah, same.
It really is
Yeah.
bad.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
In most cases, it really is bad to do. Like if you love some artist, you should not meet them. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I think about like Judd Apatow, who was able to like interview so many comedians at such a young age, and he was able to have access to them and learn things from them.
Oh, you're thinking of it from like a wisdom building.
Yeah. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrien, what'd you bring for show and tell?
Well, actually, since I've already gone, if you guys don't want to do it anymore, we can just stop.
No. Ari took that out. He left the goddamn room.
There's an Ari-shaped cloud on the couch, and he is gone.
I got porn to watch. Zing.
And a road runner.
I actually have a show and tell that's.
Okay, Ari, go.
Let's go. All
Oh,
right.
no. Well, yeah, okay. I'll write it for next. You know what? So do you have enough light to. Can someone maybe get out
Do you need a spotlight?
a cell phone light or something reasonable?
Turn the house lights to 100. All right.
Oh,
We're
Ari is
looking at
lowering his waistband and
we're looking at a
lifting
tattoo.
his shirt.
Oh, a tattoo. Okay. So he is showing his papoon.
the side
Side-
of his
side-
profile-
I do still
side
like that it's
papoon.
called
profile
papoon.
of papoon.
Side papoon.
And
Okay.
there is a tattoo. I think I have the closest view here.
Yeah, it looks like a heart, maybe
A
with
heart,
some.
smoke coming out of the top, and some letters or numbers across the front.
I think it's like a barbed wire, maybe.
So this is my anti-show and tell. This is a tattoo that I got that is of a Sacred Heart, and the flame has been put out, and it's cracked, and water is being extorted from it by a pipe. And I did get this tattoo in memory of somebody that passed, and I wish that I cared about this tattoo. I thought with such a profound loss that I would care about this tattoo. But it's just not how I work as a person. And I've never looked at this tattoo and thought of that person. I've never been sad, but I've never been happy that I got this tattoo. This tattoo fades. You know, I got it many years ago when I was like 19. And in just a funny way, it's a funny thing to show and tell about because it didn't ever quite mean anything to me. The person has a grave back in Austin that also doesn't mean anything to me. And it's just a funny memento of the way that the person actually lives on with me forever, like no matter what I do, like all the time. But I would never look somewhere else for them because they're always with me.
Yeah. Why did you get the tattoo for them?
I just thought this is so painful that maybe something like this will help me in some way to process it. And it seemed like the kind of thing that you would get a tattoo to work with as a loss, as a pain.
Is it a first tattoo or an only tattoo, or is it?
It is
like
my only tattoo.
Oh wow!
And it really brought home that I would never want another tattoo or even want this tattoo.
Would you get it? Would you ever get it removed?
No, I don't care enough. It does come up every now and then when I'm in bed with somebody. They'll say, "Oh, look at your tattoo," and I'm like, "Forget it." Like every single time, I'm like, "Nope."
But that totally makes them want to know more. I mean, that's now you're mysterious.
Nah, because it's on my gut. But they're like, "What's this thing on your gross gut?" But no. But seriously, jokes aside, it's just a funny kind of reminder to myself that I don't live in objects at all. And some people, I think, really do find themselves, you know, not to use a negative example, I really don't mean to, but one of the things that comes up with hoarders is they will feel complex grief and emotions about the loss of objects that they are hoarding. And I'm such an internal person, and sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time in my life to ever convey to someone the emotions that I have privately. I'm sure everybody feels that way to some extent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it just kind of brings it home a little bit to me. This shell of this thing that never was full of meaning. Not even when I got it. It was sort of like, I hope someday this will fill with meaning. And it just never did. That's the end of my...
Oh, and it sounds like you were following this narrative that like the world told you that you should get a tattoo of somebody when they died.
On some level, that's true.
And you thought that that's what you were supposed to do.
On some level, that's true. Nobody ever said it explicitly, but you're right. That there was some sense I had of... And I think in part it's because my older sister had tattoos. And in some way I thought I should end up having a tattoo as well because I always looked up to her.
Yeah. I also have never gotten I've never gotten a tattoo, and I often think about getting a tattoo for my mom. My mom passed away 5 years ago, and my sister and I talk about getting a tattoo, and I still haven't been able to bring myself to get a tattoo of her. And I think, is that the first tattoo I want? Do I want a tattoo? Do I want a tattoo that reminds me of her all the time when I didn't even want to think about her all the time when I was alive? Like, all of these things come up for me.
All right, that was a perfect show and tell item, by the way.
Yeah.
You did great.
You were shown.
You did great.
And you were told.
Well, I was going to mention...
That's the gay version. Shown and told, Annie.
the permanence of putting something on your body to represent somebody just goes to show how important this person was in your life and what significance they had. So it makes perfect sense that at that age you would want to do that, you know, to have them be represented in that way, but not filling that, you know, whatever it was that you were trying to fill or heal or...
I don't know if this captures any of what you're saying, but there's kind of a rule in psychology that everything has a reversal. Like things are just made of reversals.
Right.
So it's like the perfect, I couldn't hold on to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a memory of not being able to cope, not knowing what to do, not having any productive idea of what to do at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody really working through my grief with me and carrying this stupid tattoo with me. So there's all these funny, just at the moment that something says nothing about anything, I feel like is almost the moment when it can say everything.
Mm.
And it just, not to sound like a ninja turtle about it, but yeah, it's there it is.
All right.
Mm.
Lauren or Adrien?
Adrien. I'd nominate Adrien.
Okay. So I brought it's actually a mixtape that my dad made. He made actually a lot of these back in the 80s and the early 90s. So my dad was a DJ as like a hobby, but was paid for it. He had a full-time job as well, but he went to school for it. There's like I guess a disc jockey school back in the 80s and got certified for it and had the whole setup.
Did you get a pair of parachute pants when you graduated?
What would disc jockey school be?
But this is hits from 1970 to 1975, and so whenever I hear these songs, it makes me think of my childhood and this time period. It's just kind of fascinating to get to grow up around so much music, and I think it definitely informed my taste for music as an adult. I'm always trying to get my ears on something new and interesting and different, and still have an absolute blast like every Thursday or Friday when Release Radar on Spotify releases new tracks from like my favorite artists. I also brought some photos that accompany it to give it some context. But
what are the photos of?
Of my dad's DJ setup and of him. Yeah.
Whoa, 70s DJ?
I'm excited.
Also, shout out to Spotify. You should totally sponsor us.
Yes. That was intentional.
Yeah.
So he's got vinyl behind him. I mean, he's got stacks of, like just a shelf with tons of vinyl.
That was like a very small percentage of the total collection.
What kind of gigs did he usually play?
He played birthdays, weddings, corporate events, like you name it. Whenever a DJ'd, he was there.
Wow,
I wonder what the school bully at DJ school is like. Like he like walks around.
There must be like 32 of them.
Breaking someone's vinyls in half.
Your beats didn't even drop, bro.
It's him holding the diploma and being proud of graduating.
Yeah.
Aww.
He looks so fucking wholesome.
Did he have a DJ name? Like a special?
Yeah, Soundscreen. Soundscreen.
DJ, is it DJ? Was it DJ Soundscreen or just Soundscreen?
It was Soundscreen DJ Wayne Cologne. And like if you give him a microphone, he'll do his like rhyming spiel that he would do at every event. And his ending tagline was with Wayne, just know that with Wayne Cologne, you'll never be alone.
Oh. That's so 80s. I love that.
Wow.
That guy next to him is so like Huey Lewis in the News.
Oh, totally.
Have you seen your dad do any like DJing around just for fun? Like, does he do? I don't know anything about DJ. Do you do scratching?
Yeah, he can do scratching. Yeah,
that's so cool.
He actually DJ'd my 30th birthday party.
What?
Wait, no, he didn't. No, the DJ let him go up and DJ for a little bit and get on the microphone. That's right.
That's awesome.
He's like, sound screen.
Yeah, totally.
He has so much hair in this photo.
No, none at all.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Those are awesome.
That's really heartwarming.
That's really cool.
Do you have stuff that can play these cassettes, or have you transferred them prior to like digital, or do you just like the physical memento of the cassette tape?
I think I like the physical memento of it. We were doing a bunch of cleaning, and my mom had asked me if I wanted to keep anything, and so those were what I had wanted to keep. But I just know that, with the rise in popularity of like mixtapes, it's cool to like have my dad be like one of the original mixtape makers, and to have the actual physical copy of it. Because that's something I really enjoy doing today, like for potential partners, people that I'm dating,
Like mixtapes or like Spotify like playlists?
Spotify playlists.
Okay. Yeah.
I made so many mixtapes as a kid that it does still hurt my heart a little bit to give in and say Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
I still just want you feel it too.
I made a ton of I made so many mixtapes too. Yeah. And also CDs, like mixtape CDs. I made a ton of those as well.
Yep.
All right, Lauren, we're back down to you.
Okay, so I have 4 things that you all can choose from. I just mostly arbitrarily chose them because I know they have decent stories behind them.
For the listener, it's weird. There's just 4 dildos.
Which is, you're still legal. You're legal in Texas. You've got 2 more.
I am still legal in Texas.
Before it's a problem.
One of the items is actually very sad. And I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
Oh, no.
Sorry, there's one on the floor too. And I'm going to have you all choose.
That's weird. One of them is a photo of a dead dog, and it's just saying, guess which one is sad?
Probably not that one.
So it's not the starfish.
It's not the one you think.
The 4 objects are a kind of an Art Nouveau style copper cup. One of them is a beaded cactus. Is a cactus covered in little mini beads.
Like a 3-part dildo.
One of them is a cigar ashtray, which I use as a key holder.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dildo.
So weird. And the other is a dildo. No, the other is a picture frame of a painting of some tadpoles.
I was like, what kind of amphibian situation is going on? But I could not quite tell.
They're like tadpoles mid-change, like halfway between tadpoles and frogs.
I did not know that was a painting from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's 4 things, and you all can choose one. Or not you all can choose one. Just choose one, and I'll tell you a story
I don't
about
believe in auras, and I don't believe in psychic power. But I still feel like the aura and the psychic power of sadness is coming from the cactus. I don't know why.
So are we trying to pick which one is the sad one?
Of course.
No.
And then also pick which one we want to go with?
You can choose whatever you want, and I will tell a story about one or all of them if you really want me to. But I was planning on only telling a story about one of them.
I do like the sub game of can we pick the sad thing?
I don't know why, but the cactus makes me feel like I'm watching Boys on the Side.
All right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do a lot of movie references. Are you appreciating it?
Boys on the Side is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well,
shocking.
Come on, lesbian.
Yeah, I know. Shocking.
I think the sad item is the painting of tadpoles. That's what I'm going to go with.
That's my second.
No, but I want you all to pick one for me to tell a story about.
No, we're never going to do that.
No, that's the second.
We're actually going to leave in our cars real soon, but we're going to just guess which one's sad.
We'll see if we can get you sad and then leave.
I'm going with the cactus as well.
Okay, so Jesus Christ. Okay, so my question is, do you want me to tell the story about the sad one, or?
Well, it depends on which one that is. I want to hear about the cup, but I think the sad one is the tadpoles.
Tell me one of them to tell a story about.
She needs help. Pick one.
I can't
pick one.
Choose.
Scott,
just pick one.
No, not me.
No, you're the man. Pick one.
Well, you both picked the cactus, so I got to go cactus. I'll switch to cactus, but I do think tadpoles are sad. I do want to know about this.
So, are we choosing cactus?
Cactus.
Everyone's okay with cactus?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Cactus is not the sad one. The tadpoles is the sad one.
Yes!
Scott wins.
You put up a painting,
There's
like a watercolor, and it's all about like transformation from child to adult. That's got to be the most personal
I did think
thing.
It was probably the tadpoles too, but I can't resist the Santa Fe sadness of that cactus.
So it is a little bit of a sad story. So the cactus I got in Mexico is actually my last trip before the whole COVID pandemic shutdown. I went to Puerto Vallarta with well, I went by myself, but I met my one of my best friends, Kit, and her husband, Mike, and I met them there after they had been in Mexico City for several months. They then went down to Puerto Vallarta to hang out there for several months. They are the people who I know who retired at age 35, motherfuckers. Like, they were able to save enough money to retire at age 35 and 39, I guess, is both of their ages. Anyway, so I met them in Puerto Vallarta. I had not had a vacation in a really long time. I really needed a vacation. This was winter 2019. And I got there and it was like 90 degrees outside in Puerto Vallarta. It was sweltering. And I hate the heat. And I take a cab from the airport to the Airbnb that they rented. And the Airbnb that they rented did not have air conditioner, was at the top of the steepest hill I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was butting up against a jungle, and none of the windows had screens on them. So there were just random critters crawling around the apartment, flying around the apartment. It was a very pretty apartment. Like, I could see why they would choose it based on the photos, but like, holy fuck. And so bless their hearts, and Adrien is vegan. They are vegan. So we ate mostly vegan food the whole time that we were there, which is not my jam. It was nice to have healthy food while we were there. These people, again, one of my best friends.
Said no one ever on vacation.
I know, exactly. I wanted to drink myself stupid. I had worked for like 60-hour weeks for like 3 months straight. I wanted to I wanted to drink myself stupid, eat tacos, like carne asada tacos, into like a coma.
So there you are, celebrating that tequila is vegan for the next week.
For a week, they wake up at like 5 a.m. every morning and go to sleep at 8 p.m. every night. They do yoga every morning, and their entertainment is to read books and not talk to each other. Love them. These are great people.
No, it's great. I can see why they retired, since they're already dead.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Our adventures out of the house.
What will we do tonight?
In sleep. That was their
I suppose
answer.
we shall make more money so that we can retire early. Sounds like a wonderful idea, significant other. Let's do it.
Yes. We would go out. We would walk in the sweltering sun for hours to find a vegan restaurant.
Oh my God.
It was a tree.
We would walk for hours. They had cabs there, and they were so cheap. And then we would walk for hours. And I was like, "Can we please take a car, please?" And they're like, "No, let's walk." And I'm like, "Ugh." They would
so healthy.
They would walk between 10 and like 30 feet ahead of me the whole time.
Oh no. That hurt me the most.
And you're by yourself 30 feet behind them?
Pretty much. And by like day, and they're just oblivious.
You said the cabs are cheap.
People.
How much does it cost to have one run over you?
And by like day 2.5, I had really bad heat rash from my ankles to my knees. Like it was just horrible heat rash. It was itchy and painful, and they continued to want to just walk everywhere. And so like day 3, I started looking for hotels to get away from them. I ultimately decided that was a bad idea for our friendship because I wanted to remain friends with them.
Did you brainstorm like possible things you could say that would make it okay to leave and go to, like, you're like, I have a weird, there's a skin thing on my elbow. I just gotta go to a hotel or whatever.
Yeah, there were so many. Yes, but also I was in such like a bad state mentally from working for 60 hours a week for like 3 months, and just not enjoying myself that I just couldn't even deal with it. The highlights was when I convinced them to go get massive micheladas in the shade. Are you looking like you
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a beer and like it's like beer with like Bloody Mary mix inside of it. Like that's the easiest way I can explain it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so we would sit and drink micheladas in the shade before they decided they wanted to go on another walking adventure.
I just clarifying question.
Yeah.
This isn't the sad story because I am now clinically depressed.
You did get an aura from this, I guess.
Also, don't lump me in with those vegans.
Yeah, no, totally.
That's fair. Adrien knows how to have a good time.
Yeah, that's not your vibe.
No,
I mean, Puerto Vallarta.
Adrien would never walk 30 feet ahead of you.
And
I would
Puerto
never.
Adrien,
I would put you on my back.
Thank you.
That's true.
I love
so you
you.
wouldn't have to walk.
That's amazing. And like this, Puerto Vallarta is like one of the gayest cities in Mexico. Tons of gay clubs. All I wanted to do was go out like dancing at the gay clubs and hang out with a bunch of people. There's a lot of like, most of the people there speak English. Like it was just like
you couldn't even do that either. You couldn't get away from them.
Well, because it was so fucking far away. We were in the jungle up a massive hill. The cabs wouldn't come up the hill. It was that steep of a hill. The cabs wouldn't come up there. So if I wanted to go by myself at night, I would have to walk down this massive hill through a kind of shitty neighborhood to the main street and then catch a cab there.
So they had retired up the hill because they made best friends with a yucca tree. Like they didn't want anything to do with the fun and the life of Puerto Vallarta. They were.
Oh my God! They loved the fact that there were roosters right next to us, and they would wake them up in the morning. They're like, we don't even have to set an alarm, and I'm like, you motherfuckers! I hate you more than life itself.
They
right
need like
now.
a one-pager before you go visit them to explain their lifestyle before they immerse you in it.
Totally.
Lauren just shook until her teeth rattled out of her skull.
The thing is that
wide eyes.
Kit, I've known her since I was 18. When we were 18 years old and in college, we drank till we like vomited and then kept drinking. She would take morphine and climb up a tree and have fights with her best friend in a tree and then fall out of the tree and drink more and take more morphine. Like this is a fun ass person.
Does this end with you screaming what happened to you? Is that the end of the vacation?
Yeah, that part.
Recently, she has seen the error of her ways and started doing roller derby, and she stays up until like midnight sometimes.
Is she back from civilization?
She is back in civilization.
Oh, so they gave up on that bullshit.
They did.
They stopped making tamales.
They live in Santa Cruz now. Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway, so one of the best days that we had was when we were walking around and I got to go shopping and I bought this thing. But how it all ended, and to our audience, the little cactus is probably about 5 inches tall
and psychedelically colored.
It kind of looks like a dildo.
Lauren,
what?
We've talked about this.
I mean, I
don't.
Okay, fine, fine, Ari. Not everything can be a dildo.
If it's miscellaneous, don't put it in the anus.
I don't put anything in my anus. Shit can get sucked up in there.
You're talking about emergency room crisis?
Yeah.
I knew a gay guy named Bippin who was really funny, and he would talk about people that would come in with things that had been swallowed irretrievably by their buttholes.
I mean, it does happen. That's why butt plugs have to have an end. Vaginas don't do that.
You guys know that, right? That there's a point in which if it's in the ass will keep it.
No.
Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Bit of trivia. There's just a point at which the ass says, well, then if you're going to give it to me, then I'll take it.
Yep.
And then you can't have it back.
Yeah. And then you have to get it surgically
ER.
removed. Anyway, so the end of the whole vacation was that I decided to get I changed my plane to a day earlier. I was supposed to be there for 7 days. I left on the 6th day. Good for me.
And then you really did. You murdered them with that cactus?
Yeah. Well, that's why it's red in places. I didn't clean it because it reminds me of never go on vacation with them again. But the last day after I'd already booked the flight, I was packing. I booked the flight that night and I was like, fuck it, I'm changing it. It was Southwest. I could change it. Southwest, please give us some shout outs and free flights. Thank you.
We're making some janky brand deals this episode. I'm here for it.
I changed my flight in the middle of the night. I started feverishly packing, and then I laid down on the couch, not the couch, sorry, the bed that I was in, for like, I don't know, 30 minutes after crying and screaming into a pillow. And I closed my eyes and I felt something on my leg, and I opened my eyes and there was like a 4-inch centipede on my leg, and I screamed, and I continued packing my shit up, and I sat by myself in the kitchen with my shit next to me and waited for it to get daylight so I could leave.
I mean, what a successful vacation you had.
So my favorite part of the vacation was that I got home a day early and got to sleep all day that day. I was also sleeping on the hardest mattress that existed. So every night I stole these pads off of the couch so that I had a little bit of cushion. But it was like a trampoline and
right.
And it was like a trampoline and a board full of bricks. Just had a baby, and it was so bad. Anyway,
you straight up went to Puerto Vallarta, got held captive by American vegans, and then attacked by bugs.
Yeah,
that's a good summary.
That
and I had heat
sucks.
rash, like from my ankles to my knees. And it stayed. It was. I had a heat rash for like 3 weeks. It was that bad.
Should have come on vacation with my family in Puerto Vallarta. My grandparents have a timeshare there, and we used to go there like in October for a whole week. Like we will all descend on this place.
Way to fucking brag.
He's like, I make delicious vegan food. You wouldn't even.
No, I wasn't vegan back then. Like we were eating.
Oh, the final blow, the killing blow, and you can eat meat.
I mean, I was allowed to eat meat whenever I wanted to, but we kept going to these all vegan restaurants.
I'm sorry, that's just still just
or
as
all
bad.
Vegetarian restaurants.
They're like, you can eat meat if you can find it.
Exactly.
Good luck.
And there's like a lemur eating a carnitas taco in a tree that's like laughing at you. You dumb bitch. Welcome to Puerto Vallarta, you idiot. Yeah, you had like the opposite of what Puerto Vallarta is for vacation. Everyone in Puerto Vallarta was like down the hill going, why? They were just dancing and going, why are you doing that to yourself?
It was so bad.
Come join us at these really fun clubs. Why would you
kid,
not?
If you're listening to this, I love you dearly. I'm never going to go on vacation with you.
You could have spent so many lovely nights at the La Pussyita Cantina.
I could have. God damn it. Vagina fajitas.
La Isla Vagina.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my story.
Good story.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was a great story.
Shown and told, Henny.
Yeah. Next time, if y'all want to hear the super sad story about the tadpoles,
we'll know. We'll go straight there.
Are the other two objects happy stories?
Yeah. Well, this one's a fun story about my sister and I fighting.
Don't tell it. We didn't pick it.
Yep. And then this one's that's the ashtray. And then this cup is a good story about a vacation that I took with those two. That was a good vacation. So yeah.
Oof. Oh, that's their redemption.
But that was before they became vegan and sticks in the mud.
If only we had picked that one, they would have seemed like heroes.
Absolutely.
Now they seem like terrible villains.
Yep.
We did it. I think we made it to the end. Successful bit. Good job, everybody. We all agree. Worked well.
Great bit. I mean, I don't know why anyone would ever
No.
argue otherwise,
Totally
but
normal.
it's totally a great bit.
Yeah.
Seems like a silly thing to argue about.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Canilaydown.
Bye.